All right, everybody. Hope you're doing all right today. Um, if this is going correctly, this should not air until June 14th. Going ahead and making this video early because I'm not working on my honeymoon. But just wanted to get this video sent out for you guys. Now, and actually, it won't go out the 14th. It'll go out the 7th. I need to fix that. So note to self there. But anyways, we are on Unit 34, Session 2. So Unit 34, Session 2. We are in Acts chapter 22, verse 30, and then chapter 23, verses 6 through 17, and verses 22 through 24. And so in order to understand this passage, you've got to be able to know some context. And so in Acts chapter 21, Paul was arrested in the temple, and he stands on trial for several chapters. I just think there's a couple of things that we should note about this. One more thing before we do that, it's important to note too that Paul was a Roman citizen. So he was being accused by Jewish people of religious crimes and heresy and everything. But Rome was like, hold up, you can't be killing people randomly for religious things. He's a Roman citizen. He needs to stand trial. And so Rome did oftentimes provide this stability. I truly believe that the gospel would not have advanced like it did had it not been for the Roman Empire. Because, the roads they built, the common language, all those things. When the Bible talks about in the fullness of time, the Son of Man came, I believe this was the best time for him to come because the gospel could spread so quickly. But I just have 2 points for you today, two key phrases that I think encompass what this passage is telling us. Number one is that when you live on mission, there will be opposition. I didn't mean for that to rhyme, but it did. So when you live on mission, there will be opposition, meaning that when you're faithful to God's word, especially in a context where God's word is not respected, there will always be opposition. Paul understood this. He wasn't surprised by the fact that he was arrested. He wasn't, I'm not going to sit here and say he wasn't scared. I'm sure that there was this human element of fear there. But however, he fully well knew that every day that he woke up, it could be the day he died for what he believed. And so when you live on mission, there will be opposition, and there should be opposition, unless everybody in your circle is saved. And if that's the case, you need to move somewhere where people aren't saved, right? There's lost people everywhere around us. And so if we're truly living for him, there will always be this opposition. But the second thing is God uses the faithfulness of multiple people to carry out his plan of deliverance. I'll say that one more time. God uses the faithfulness of multiple people to carry out his plan of deliverance. See, what ends up happening here is Paul is put on trial, and they go back and forth, these religious groups, until finally, one religious group is ready to kill Paul. Like, even without due process, we're ready to kill him. And so the other group goes and decides to fight against that and to protect him. And they put him back in the barracks where he'd be safe. Well, these people that wanted to kill him did not let it go. All right. So what they planned on is they were going to deceive the Roman centurions and deceive Paul that there was another kind of court date coming. And on his way there would be 40 armed men of that political group, that religious and political group, that would be there to kill him. Well, just to show how God works, Paul's nephew actually catches wind of this, and he can't do anything about it in and of himself. He's just a boy. But what he does is he goes and he tells Paul, visits him in jail and tells Paul. Paul can't do anything about it because he's in jail. But you know what Paul does? Paul speaks to a centurion, which he must have had a pretty strong relationship with. I'm sure Paul was pretty much a regular guy at these jails. But he tells the centurion saying, hey, get this guy to someone in authority. He has something very important to tell. So he does that. Paul's nephew goes before the person of authority who can do something about it. And they do. And they send 200 men to stop this attack. And Paul's life is spared in that sense. And I think about that, and God certainly has the capability just to strike down all those men right there. However, oftentimes the way we see him work is he uses the faithfulness of many to carry out his plan of deliverance. And that's what we see here. Um, so it's a cool story. These aren't points that are catchy or quick. The more so points that talk about the story and takeaways that we can have. And so I think those two things, living on mission means opposition, and then God using the faithfulness of many to carry out his plan of deliverance, is a good summary of what God does in this passage. So let me know if you have any questions, and good luck teaching this week. Thanks.